Yes, yes, yes. Today we are going to be in the studio with two brethren who've been inside the city using music, using other art form of the African spirit. And today we're going to even talk about names, because oftentimes I see emails that come out that says, we are not Africans, we are not black men, we are Moors. So we're going to do that forward now and just light up the thing, because we need to know where this comes from. We are talking about Moors. But even before we do that, let's fully introduce ourselves so we know. I am Kofi Abwaji Akofi Sankofa. All four names from the motherland. My brother over this side.
Greetings, brother. And Adisa Jehuti Il.
My brother.
And Kudro Ado El.
So let us start out, and anybody could jump in any time. We hear the word, the differentiation, Moors. M-O-O-R-S or M-U-U-R? What are we talking about?
Well, first we have to understand that it's a concept that we're talking about, right? And the problem is that people have accepted the misconcept of what Moor is because they might have heard something on YouTube, or they might have, but they haven't went to a Moor and asked the Moor, what is it? So because you're asking a Moor, Moor is short form for Moroccan, because North, South, Central America is the Moroccan Empire, which is our land as quote-unquote black people. But we're not black people because we're Moors, because this is Morocco, and this is the empire, and on the continent is the kingdom, and the kingdom is subordinate to an empire.
Now, when you say that, now the next question I always ask the children, the student, and the teacher, can you prove it?
Well, when we look into nationalities in history, we find out about Ruth the Moabitess, from the land of Moab.
Are we now in the Bible?
We are basically in our history, because whether it's the Bible or the Quran, or
it's happening on the continent.
It's happening from our perspective.
Okay.
They created that because of us.
Okay.
They didn't just pick that out of the sky. They had a foundation for that information. So as far as proof is concerned, the fact that I'm here telling you that I'm Moor, and what a Moor is all the proof that you should really accept, based on the fact that we never recognize ourselves.
Well, I could accept that, but because I'm Sankofa, I never accept anything such as that.
Granted.
So this is the thing, because we know people been studying.
Yeah.
We have Naubian. We have Drew Noble Ali. We have Malachi York.
Yeah.
Z York.
Yeah.
What's the school of thought happening there, why we seem to have a disagreement happening? What is the issue?
Well, again, it's because of misconcepts. Yes, Malachi York is a Nwapian, but Nwapians are Moors. He said that himself in all of his literature. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali put out a book called the Circle 7 Quran, which is the holy book of the Moors in North America. And Malachi York put out that same book with his picture in it, and Noble Drew Ali's picture in it, and Malachi York's wearing a fez. And in the Holy Tablets, which is the sacred book of the Nwapians, there's chapters and chapters about Noble Drew Ali in the Nwapians holy book. So somebody's not holding up their end of the bargain. And I don't think it's Malachi York, because he knows his name is Malachi Zadok El, because he's a Moor. And the reason they could persecute him is because York is British, and he's clearly not British, which means that he's misrepresented himself, which is fraud, which is why they trumped up the talk about molestation. But really it's because the own people who supposedly support him are calling him a British name when he's a Moor.
So we're talking
he has
identity.
A fez, just like you're seeing me wear.
Yeah, so we're talking about identity.
Identity. What is our identity? from a political perspective, our identity is Moors. Because if you ask anybody on the planet, they'll know what that is. They wouldn't even have objection. We have people who don't even speak English coming from other countries seeing us at Afrofest to take pictures.
Yeah.
People from other countries coming here to take pictures of us wearing a fez. Why is that? Do you think just because that's cool? Or is there some type of historical, political part that other groups aren't paying attention to?
Okay. Then two things we need to clarify. Now, the Moors, M-O-O-R-S, the Moors that went to Spain.
Yes.
Are we speaking of the same Moors? The one that ruled Spain?
The Moors that rule Spain are a popular set of Moors that are, if you are going to look into the history books, their history books, you'll find them from the perspective of when they were kicked out in, 1492.
1492.
Coincidentally, it's the same year that they claim Christopher Columbus sailed the seas and slavery, quote unquote. Those particular Moors dealt with their situation in Spain, right? We know of Moors in every place on this planet, and in each situation, it was unique. And this is where the knowledge, the science that the Moors of today are keeping alive.
Okay.
Right? So yes, to answer your question, there's different points in history where Moors at some points where we're going to classify them as Muslims today, but we have misconceptions. So we have to clarify some misconceptions first for it to be properly understood, but there are also Moors at periods of time who spoke Hebrew. So our misconceptions of today would be calling them Jews, so on and so forth. So, and I mean, if you go to Malaysia, you go to the Philippines, they have history of Moors, are their ancestors. And the knowledge and the science and the history and the culture, they inherited from them.
Okay.
And this happened throughout time.
Okay. Secondly, when we spoke of empire and kingdom, we want to go back there, or go black there.
Okay.
What are we saying? You're saying that this place that we're standing on was part of an empire.
Yeah.
This country.
Yeah.
So the Aboriginal wasn't the first people here.
Well, the people who say that they're quote unquote Indian weren't the first people here. Because if this isn't India and they call themselves Indian, then they're not native. That's just common sense. India's across the Atlantic. So if they're calling themselves Indians and there's a place called India and it's not here, then those people have no claim. They're running a fraud.
Okay. But then I hear see, this is when you're going to have to study the language of these people, right? Because then here it is. Some people call themselves natives.
Yeah.
Some people call themselves Aboriginal.
Yeah.
Some people call themselves Métis. Inuit.
Yeah.
Good point.
I was in a conversation in Jamaica, of all places, with a brethren down there from the Kemetic vibration, Malachi York vibration, and he was saying that the people over here, the Innu, were the same people, the African people that was around this part of the world back in the Americas.
Yeah.
Right, where they have the Olmecs
Right,
and all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
So how does that link up to the Moor identity? The Olmec and all of that.
So, a regular dictionary is going to say that Morocco comes from the Arabic Maghrib Alasa, which means the extreme west. And then this is the extreme west. And it also says that Morocco is a kingdom of northwestern Africa, which is east. So the extreme west is a separate jurisdiction than Morocco. And obviously it's bigger which is why it's the empire, and that's the kingdom. And then that's why when they founded the United States of America, it was the Moroccan Sultan that first recognized the United States of America.